What if I told you that most of your struggles, the goals that you can't seem to reach, the habits that you can't break, the life that feels just out of reach, aren't because you're lazy, undisciplined, or not trying hard enough? What if the real challenge is that you're trying to live someone else's life in your body? Today, I'm going to uncover the exact framework that I have used and that has helped me to stop forcing and start flowing toward my dream life. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Mark, and this channel is all about helping you build a better relationship with the most important person in your life. You. And speaking of that relationship, we need to talk about something that's probably been sabotaging you for years without you even realizing it. I'm talking about identity misalignment. And trust me, once you understand this concept, so many things in your life are going to suddenly make sense. So, hit that subscribe button because we're about to dive deep into my core clarity and performance framework. And this might just be the very missing piece that you've been searching for to get your life into first gear. Okay, let's start with a question that may sting a little. Have you ever noticed that no matter how hard you try, certain goals, outcomes, and successes just feel impossible to achieve? Maybe you set the same New Year's resolution every single year. Maybe you start every Monday morning pumped up and motivated, only to find yourself back in old patterns by Wednesday afternoon. Or maybe you've read all the books, listened to all the podcasts, tried all the productivity hacks, and yet nothing seems to stick and work out. Here's what most people think. I just need more discipline in my life. I need to try harder. I need better strategies. So they white knuckle their way through life, forcing themselves to do things that feel completely unnatural, stressing and exhausting themselves in the process. But here's the truth that changed everything for me and for many other people that I've worked with. The problem isn't your effort. The problem isn't even your strategy. The problem is that you're operating from the wrong identity. Think about it like this. Imagine trying to live the life of a marathon runner, while your identity is still that of a couch potato. You wake up at 5 a.m., lace up your running shoes and hit the pavement. But every single step is going to feel like a battle. Why? Because your actions don't match who you believe you are. This is what I call identity misalignment. And it is the hidden root cause of most of the challenges that we experience in our lives. When you're trying to become doesn't match who you believe you are, you're constantly swimming upstream. And let me tell you, that's absolutely exhausting. So, what's the solution, I hear you say? Well, this is where the core clarity and performance framework comes in. And I'm genuinely excited to share this with you because it's going to change how you approach every goal, every dream, every aspiration that you have in your life. The core framework is designed to do one powerful thing: help you create and embody your future ideal version of yourself. Not the version that your parents want you to be, not the version society expects, but the authentic, aligned, amazing version of you that you're meant to become. And here's where it really gets exciting. When you shift your identity to align with this future version of yourself, something magical happens. You stop forcing. You stop striving. You stop white-knuckling your way through life. Instead, you start effortlessly achieving your desired outcomes. I know that might sound too good to be true, but stay with me, because this is the magic of identity shifting, and it's backed by psychology, neuroscience, and the real-world results of people just like you. When you are the person who runs marathons, getting up to train isn't a battle. It's just what you do. When you are the person who builds successful businesses, taking action on your ideas feels natural. When you are the person who has loving relationships, showing up for others becomes effortless. See the difference? Let's break down what CORE actually stands for and how this framework works to create this amazing transformation. Now, I'm going to give you an overview today, but in future videos, we'll dive deep into each element. But for now, I want you to understand the foundation of how this all works. C in CORE stands for clarity. Getting crystal clear on who your future ideal self actually is. O stands for ownership, taking full responsibility for becoming that amazing person. R stands for realignment, adjusting your beliefs, habits, and actions to match your new identity. E stands for embodiment, living as that person right now. Not someday in the future, but right now in the present. Each of these elements builds on the last, creating a comprehensive system for identity transformation. Here's why the CORE framework is different from everything else that you've tried in your life. Most personal development approaches focus on behavior change. They tell you what to do differently. And sure, you might succeed for a while through sheer willpower, but eventually you know what happens. You snap right back to who you believe you are. It's like stretching a rubber band. The tension becomes so strong and so exhausting that eventually you let go of it. The CORE framework flips this completely. Instead of trying to change your behavior and hoping that your identity catches up, we start with your identity. We help you clearly define and embody your future ideal self first. Then the behaviors and results flow naturally from that new identity. You see, it's not about forcing yourself to do things you don't want to do. It's about becoming the person who naturally does those things. That's the magic. Let me be clear about something. Effortless doesn't mean you won't take action. It doesn't mean everything will be handed to you on a silver platter. What it means is that the action that you take will feel aligned, natural, and sustainable. Think about the times in your life when you've been in flow, when you're doing something that just feels right. Maybe it's a hobby that you love or a skill that comes naturally to you. You're still working, you're still putting in the effort, but it doesn't feel like suffering, does it? That's what we're creating with the CORE framework, but across your entire life. When you're operating from your true future aligned identity, achieving your goals stops feeling like pushing a gigantic rock uphill and starts feeling like surfing a wave. You're still engaged, still directing your energy, but you're working with momentum instead of against it. Okay, let's make this super practical. What does this actually look like in real life? Well, Let's say your goal is to build a successful business. The old way. You force yourself to network. You do the cold calling, knocking on doors, even though you hate it. You create content that doesn't feel authentic. You copy strategies from other people who are nothing like you. The result? Burnout, frustration, and mediocre results. Let's look at the core framework way. You first get clear on who you are as a successful business owner. Your version, not someone else's. Maybe you're an introvert who builds deep relationships one-on-one. Maybe you're a creative, and your business will reflect that artistic vision. You align your identity with this version of a business owner, and suddenly the actions that you take feel natural because they're coming from who you truly are. Or let's talk about health. The old way. I should eat more salads. I should go to the gym. I should drink more water. You're operating from an obligation and external pressures. The core framework way. You define yourself as someone who values vitality and energy, someone who loves how their body feels when it is nourished. Suddenly, choosing the salad isn't a sacrifice. It's an expression of who you are. The gym, it isn't punishment. It's where you honor your identity. This is what becomes possible when you align your identity with your aspirations. And this is exactly what the core clarity and performance framework is all about. It's designed to help you do just that. So here's what I want you to do right now. Think about one area of your life where you're struggling or forcing things. Just one. Now ask yourself this question. Who would I need to be for this to feel effortless? Not what would I need to do? Who would I need to be? If you're struggling with fitness, who is the identity of someone who finds movement effortless and enjoyable? If you're struggling in your career, who is the version of you that naturally creates success? Drop your answer in the comments below. I do read each and every one of them, and I'm here to help you start this identity shift today. Listen, you've been working so hard trying to force yourself to be someone you're not. And I want you to know that it's not your fault that it hasn't worked out. You just haven't had the right framework. The core clarity and performance framework is going to change that. You're not broken. You're not lazy. You're not lacking discipline. You're just misaligned. And that's something that we can fix together. Now, if you found this video helpful, smash that like button and share it with someone who needs to hear this message today. Subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the deep dives into each element of this particular framework. Your future ideal self is waiting. Let's go and create them together. As always, your growth is my passion. I hope to see you in the next video.